with linear equations in slope-intercept form, there's just going to be one difference. In the examples yesterday, we always gave you the y-intercept. And so you can see that's 4, and you can see it right there. But today we're going to give you something different. We might give you the slope and a point, but not the y-intercept like that. Or we might even give you 2 different points that aren't the y-intercept, like those 2 points. And we can still figure out the equation of the line, because we can still figure out the slope, we can still figure out the y-intercept, and once we figure those out, we just pop them in and we're all done. So the first case, given the slope and a point. So write an equation for the line that passes through the point -1, 3. So it goes through that point, which is not the y-intercept, because notice the x value is not 0. And it has a slope of -4. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to plug in the slope and the point into the equation, and that's going to help us find the y-intercept. Because remember, any point on the line has an x and a y coordinate. So we know the -1 and the 3 are a pair of x and y that'll work for our equation. So we can plug those in, right? The -1 we can plug in for x, and the 3 we can plug in for y. And then we also know the slope, so we can plug that in for the slope. And watch what happens when we plug all those 3 things in. So we know that y is 3, slope is -4, we know that x is -1, and the only thing we don't know is b. But we can figure that out now. So we have 3, -4 times -1 is +4. I'll subtract 4 from both sides, and I get -1 equals b. So we just figured out the y-intercept. So now all I have to do is plug that in because we already know the slope. So again, it's always going to be y equals, pop in the slope, x, pop in the y-intercept, and we're done. And we can see on the graph that we also have it correct. So we know that we had -1, 3, -1, 1, 2, 3 was on the line. We know the slope was -4. If I want to write that as a fraction, I write -4 over 1. So it's going to be going up to the left. So I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. But notice we're getting farther away as I go here from the y-axis. And if I want to find the y-intercept, I have to cross it. So I'm going to go the other way now. I'm going to go from here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and over. And then guess what? Right there, we found it. And the y-intercept is -1, which is exactly what we found right here. So the equation was -4x minus 1. So we're going to do another one like that. So it passes through the point 6, 3. That's going to be our x and y value we're going to use. And then it has a slope of 2. And we can write that as a fraction if we want to use on the graph later. But again, I'm just going to plug in my x, my y, and my slope. So y is 3, and m is 2. My slope is 2. And x is 6. And remember, these are being multiplied together, so 2 times 6. But we don't know b, but we can figure that out. So 3 equals 12 plus b. Subtract 12, and I get -9 equals b. So I can pop that in now, and since I already know my slope is 2, I'm done. I can say y equals 2x minus 9. And if we graph that, you can see -9 is down here, and a slope of 2 means up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and that is what your line looks like. All right, the second case is if they give you just 2 points. So notice this time they're not giving you the slope. Right, so we don't have the slope or the y-intercept yet, but we can still figure both out. So the first thing we're going to do is use the slope formula to find the slope. So let's call our -2, 5 our first point. So I'll say that's my x1 and my y1. And then we'll call 2, -1 our second point. So we'll say that's x2, y2. So my slope, I can just say what's my rise or the difference in my y values. So I'll say y2 minus y1, which is -1 minus 5. And that is -1 plus -5 is -6. Okay? And then I need my run, which is the difference in my x values. And notice if I do y2 minus y1, I have to do x2 minus x1. I just have to do the same order. And that is 2 minus -2. Remember, minus and negative, same as saying add. So that's 4. And I can reduce this to -3 over 2. So I have my slope now. So I can pop that in. Now, step 2, plug in the slope and one of the points that you have and to find the y-intercept. So let's do that. So we have y, right? We can pick either of these points over here. So either of these points, I'll just pick our point 1. But you can use either one and you'll get exactly the same answer. So the x I'm going to use is -2. The y I'm going to use is 5. So y is 5 equals m. We know that now. That's -3/2. Okay, x is -2 plus b. We still don't know b, but we can figure that out now. All right, so I have 5 equals, so these 2's are going to cancel out right here. I'm going to just switch the color. So those 2's are going to cancel out, but you have a -3 times a negative, so you have a +3 left, right? So that's going to be +3 plus b. Subtract 3 from both sides, and you're going to get 5 minus 3 is 2, and that is your b. So now you have your b, your y-intercept, you have your slope, and that's all you need. Just remember, we're just trying to find slope, y-intercept, and that's it. So let's write our equation. Y equals -3/2 x plus 2. And that's the equation of our line. And if we wanted to look, -3/2 plus 2, the y-intercept is 2, right? -3/2, so we're going up to the left. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 2. I could go in the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 2. Right? 1, 2, 3, 2. And now, so this is our line. And remember, if we did it correctly, then these 2 points, -2 right here, -2, 5, and 2, 1, and 2 negative 1 should be on it. So -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And guess what? That's on it. And then 2, -1. 1, 2, -1. And guess what? That's on it. So we definitely did it correctly. So let's do one more of those again. And so this just uses the function notation. So let's just review that really quickly. So this says f of 4 equals 9. And that just means when we plug in an x of 4, we get a y value of 9. And again, we can write that as a point. So that's 4, comma 9. And then it says f of, so we'll just put a box around that, of -4 equals -7. And all that's saying is when x is -4, y is -7. So we have another point. So again, we have 2 points just like we had on the last one. So first thing we're going to do is find the slope by using that slope formula. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And again, that's just rise over run. So you can call either point whatever one you want. Just the pen color real quick. I'll call this x1 and y1, and I'll call this x2 and y2. So we get -7 minus 9, and that's -7 plus -9, -16. And then x2 is -4 minus 4, and that's -4 plus -4, and that's -8. And so -16 over -8 is +2. So m is 2. So we've got our slope. And now all we have to find out is our y-intercept. So we're just going to plug that slope in, and one of the points, you can pick either one here. You can pick your 4, 9, or your -4, -7. And I'm going to pick the 4, 9 because I like working with 2 positives, right? So for my y, I'm going to plug in 9. The slope is 2. The x that matches with 9 is 4. And we don't know b. That's what we have to find out. So we know that 9 equals 8 plus b. Subtract 8. And we get 1 equals b. We have our y-intercept, and we can plug that in, and we're all set. So our equation is y equals 2, that's our slope, x plus 1, and we can check that on the graph. Y-intercept is where I start, that's a 1. 2, so I'm going up 2 over 1. Remember, if you want to write it as a fraction, you can write it over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. I could go the other direction, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Notice if you're walking up that line to the right, you're going to the right, so that's a positive slope. Perfect. Okay, but if we did it right, these 2 points, 4, 9, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 9, should be on the line, and it is. Perfect. And then -4, -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's on the line, so we know we did it right. Perfect. Okay. So just if you like to have the steps written out for you, you can check out this slide. You can take a screenshot of it. But again, you're just trying to find the slope if they don't give it to you. Then you're trying to find the y-intercept, and that's it. You're always just trying to find the slope and the y-intercept. You can use a graph. You can use the formulas. Whatever works is fine. And then you just plug it in, and you are good to go.